I'm Payson Holtman. Archery hunting elk is my passion.
Shot a bull.
Chasing bugling bulls in September is what I live for. Come with me into the elk woods.
Well, today marks a new day, a new video. As you can tell, I do not have my bow. So, if you haven't watched that video, I got lucky, and a couple days ago I filled my elk tag on a really sweet bull. So, now it's this guy's turn. So, I'm gonna run the camera, see if we can make a pretty sweet film out of his hunt. Hopefully get him on a big bull and fill another tag. Between him and my cousin, I'll be out every day I possibly can, running the camera and chasing elk around, so it'll be fun. And if you haven't watched the other video, go check it out. But hopefully this one's a good one. Hopefully we can get another elk down. Well, it's only 7:25. But it's getting dark fast. Serious storm rolling in, it looks like. There's a big sounding bull right here below us, but it's getting dark so fast because of this storm. I don't know if we'll have time to make something happen. We'll listen for a minute and see if something sounds off a little bit closer. But it might get western. Put my hat back on. Several of them sound really good. Of course, you can't spot. They sound good. Let's go kill them. Well, a little midday update. We chased after this bull for quite some time. He sounds pretty big, and I know there's a big one in the area. I saw him summer scouting, so. Anyways, we chased after him for a while. And puffing Matt back there, so taking a leak, I guess, but there was another hunter that came in, and I mean, he bugled every 30 seconds. Super annoying. Trying to call the bull in, and he ended up pushing him further than I think the bull was originally going to go. And the bull got quiet, but I knew he was up here in this timber. Well, the hunter came down here, circled below me, and he just kept bugling as he walked, and eventually got down way below us. I think he's headed out. But this bull up here, it started ripping again, and it's maybe 2 o'clock or something, 1:47. So we're gonna go make a move. It's deep in here, I mean, but he sounds big. Sounds like he could be worth it. So let's go see what we can make happen. Alright. Oh, no, he's not.
At this point in time, Dad and I were under the impression that he had missed the bull, so we kept hunting the bull as if it hadn't been hit, but if you watched closely, that unfortunately was not the case. Well, as you guys just saw, we had an awesome day of elk hunting. to an extent. But started off, we heard a bull, I mean, pretty early in the morning. Started chasing after that bull, and that bull turned into multiple bulls, and I mean, just, yeah, it was just how you dream it. I mean, we picked what we thought was the biggest sounding bugle, chased after it, ended up having that other hunter go through, and he went right through the trees, the bulls, and just bugling, and the bull actually got quiet. Then once the hunter had left the canyon, he started piping back off, and we headed in there. And really, I think that's the deepest we've gone all season. I mean, it was a good hike. It was a push through some gnarly stuff. It was just a grind. And anyways, got up in there close. By that time it was late afternoon. The bull had kind of quieted down. The wind was kind of just swirling. And so we just kind of slow played our way over into the timber. And by the time the thermals started coming down, we climbed up on the hillside he was on and just got in close. We worked up in there. I spotted one of his cows, and didn't take long, and the bull circled down and took the cow up with him. And I actually had eyes on the bull for most of the time, whether I could just see antler tips moving through the trees or what. And Dad was trying to close some distance, and there was a couple times where I could see the antlers off the bull, and he'd be working in and kind of make me nervous because I didn't think he could actually see the bull. I'm like, man, I don't think he knows how close he's getting. But yeah, we ended up getting into 45 yards is what Dad was at. I was just behind him, and yeah, I mean, just how you want it to happen. And we didn't use any calls or anything, just spot and stalk.
And it was interesting to me. I was focused on the cows. I didn't see the bull a whole lot, to be honest. I just knew where the cows were, and I was using their movement to kind of govern my pace, so they didn't spot me when we did excellent. Probably one of the best stalks I've ever pulled off. Got right up in on them. I just kept working toward those cows, and I knew the bull was there, but I wasn't trying to find him. I just knew if I could get close enough to those cows, eventually I'd get a good look at him. And as Payson said, he was watching the whole time. I was probably closer to that bull than I realized many times. But when he finally crossed in front of me, it was an excellent opportunity. It really was probably one of the best days on the mountain. And to that point, I hadn't totally decided if I was going to shoot this bull. I knew Payson wanted me to do it. I was indecisive, hadn't truly made up my mind, and all of a sudden I was in the moment and realized that, hey, you did it, you got here. And decided to, I didn't know if I was going to try and stop this bull. He was crossing, like Payson said, about 45 yards in front of me. Didn't know if I should try and call and let it, break the silence and let them realize we were there, or keep being quiet. And I did try to call, and I could feel my reed stick, and it was a poor effort for a call. And it didn't do anything to the elk.
No,
he just continued to walk toward his cows, and I realized I should have shot. I'm like, you've already wasted a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
And then I rushed a poor shot, thinking I had blown it, and I wish I could go back and take that back, because as it turns out, I released the arrow, was sure I had missed.
Yeah.
The bull left for just a minute, 10 yards or so, and he came back and stood in front of me, and we spent another half hour to an hour right next to those elk. They had no idea we were there still.
Well, and when you originally released your arrow, I mean, it was loud.
Yeah.
That's what told me you missed. It sounded like a tree to me.
Yeah,
I
was certain it was a tree.
It was definitely, it's louder than flesh. I mean,
yeah.
So.
And there's a real chance, I don't know. There's a chance maybe there was a branch in between me and that bull that I never.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the loud
Yeah.
noise we heard, and that's why the arrow placement was so poor. But whatever the case, I continued to pursue this bull as if he wasn't hit.
Yeah.
I just knew he was unscathed, untouched. Certainly had opportunities to get a second arrow in that bull. He gave us a lot of time next to him.
Oh yeah.
Never a great look, but certainly if I'd have realized he was injured in any way, I'd have been getting an arrow in that thing. And unfortunately, for quite some time, we just didn't realize he was hit.
Yeah. Yeah, he paced back and forth. I wish I could have got the shot on film, but honestly, Dad drew back the bow, and at this point, I kind of knew the area the bull was in, but I didn't have a really good look at him, and I tried zooming in the camera. When he shot, you can't really see anything, as you guys probably noticed. And yeah, I tried. As the bull paced back and forth, he gave us multiple other shot opportunities. I got a little bit on film, but I mean, I had held my arms up for the past hour probably, being in close to this bull. So at this point, my arms were tired. I didn't have a tripod or monopod or anything there, so I kind of learned a few things about running the camera there. But yeah, the bull paced back and forth, and he actually headed over to this little meadow, and we tried sneaking in close again, and he barked at us, and then he followed it up with a chuckle. And I mean, if someone was really good at calling, I think you probably could have called the bull right to us then. I mean,
Truth be known, probably didn't have to even be that good at calling him. We were
No.
in such a perfect setup, I think anything would have brought him right past me.
no, I agree.
But it wasn't our style. It's not how we've always hunted.
Yeah.
And so it didn't seem like the right time to try something you weren't familiar with.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, it definitely crossed my mind, but I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? We haven't used calls up to this point, so it's like, why start now? I mean, the bull's cows were already probably 100 yards at this point to our right, and he was to our left, and we're like, well, he's gonna have to come back across anyways, so
Yeah.
it's kind of my thought process. And yeah, he did just that. I mean, he came across, gave us a couple more looks. I think he drew back again, actually.
I drew back several times.
Yep.
And just never had the look that I felt really comfortable with.
Yep.
I really thought that last trip he was going to cross right where I needed him to, and he just happened to go behind the bush that he needed to come in front of.
And he finally wandered off in the trees, and we walked up there, and we're trying to catch up to him because it was getting dark fast. And I mean, then I look up at Dad, and he starts pointing at the ground, and that's about the time we realized he had hit the bull.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking for blood at that point. I was just trying to, again, stay close to these elk, and I just happened to cross through a spot where he had stood and watched for a little bit, and yeah, there was blood on the ground, and at that moment I knew that it was going to be a long night, and that I would have done a lot of things differently if I'd have seen that blood earlier or known that I had hit him. But as it turned out, we watched them right up till dark. They crossed over the canyon. I think they finally got wise to the fact that we were there.
Yeah.
And they crossed this big, deep canyon, and we watched him chase his cows around on the opposite hillside for right up until dark. And it just ate at me. So a few days later, well, might have been quicker than that, but I went back and found my arrow. I knew the bull hadn't died. It was obvious the way he was acting that evening. He hadn't died, and that it wasn't a very lethal hit. Found my arrow. It was laying on the ground. It wasn't stuck in the tree that I thought it would be stuck in. Broadhead was sharp. didn't help answer any of my questions other than at least my arrow wasn't in that bull.
Yeah.
So, a lot of lessons learned,
For sure.
a lot of heartache on that one. It's hard when you do everything right, maybe even better than you've ever done it.
Yeah.
Get yourself in a position you dream of getting yourself in, and when it comes right down to the shot, to not make the shot that you know you can make. So
Yeah.
that's a frustrating thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was just a great day. I mean, obviously, in the end, it brought some heartache. Both of us were pretty bummed about that. I mean, I think we can pretty confidently say, though, I mean, that bull's alive. I mean, it wasn't a fatal shot by any means. And yeah, I didn't record much after we found the blood because at this point it was almost dark, like we said, and I just was like, dude, we gotta get back on this bull. I'm like, and I didn't record much, so. But yeah, he, like you said, he was out chasing cows and just fine, so. Yeah, we kept going up there a couple more times in search of him, but honestly, it just kind of quieted down in the whole area after that day.
So it really was a great day. I mean, I would love to have that shot back. I would love to have it end a little differently, but 95% of that day was perfect elk hunting. We did so many things so well. I was so proud of us. It was awesome. I'll never forget that experience. Unfortunately, I'll also never forget the way it ended, not the way we wanted. Unfortunately, that's hunting, especially bow hunting. The highs are the highest of highs. The lows can be so low.
Yeah.
When that blood trail runs out or that hope fades, it's just the worst feeling. But that's why you try and learn from each experience, and
Yeah.
you get out there again and you just try and move on and do better next time. That's what I plan to do, but I wouldn't trade that day for anything. It was awesome.
Yeah. No, I think you nailed it. It's just the sad reality of bow hunting, and I mean, it happens to everybody, and all you can do is just keep practicing and working on yourself, just honestly year round with bow hunting. You just constantly have to be putting in the work and to create better opportunities and just up your odds when you're out there archery hunting. So hopefully you deal with less of those heartbreaks and bad shots and stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think you can just completely eliminate them, but
It's tough.
you can do the best you can. But anyways, that's the lows of bow hunting, and hope you guys enjoyed. This was a fun video to make. It was, like we said multiple times, one of our best days on the hill this year. Best and worst days on the hill this year. So hope you guys enjoy, and as always, just like, subscribe. I got a couple more episodes gonna be dropping, a couple more elk hunts, so catch you on the next one.